Welcome, I'm Pascal from the blog de l'image. Today I'm talking to you about the best free software available to edit your films. On the market, you can find a lot of free software, but they are limited compared to the other professional tools. Blackmagic Design offers a free version of the professional DaVinci Resolve. Originally, DaVinci Resolve was specialized for color grading. Since the 10th version, Blackmagic Design has included the editing functions. Today, this software is a one-stop shop where everything you need to create movies is found. The free version is completely operational. The sold version is for cinema production. Only some new filters and the noise reduction capacity could tempt you to buy a full version. Since the 14th version, Blackmagic has decreased the price from $950 to $300 in order to facilitate the upgrade of the software. The software works on Mac and PC. It would not work if you have an old computer or a computer with a limited video card. Don't forget that a speed disk is necessary for the real-time playing. This is the most common problem. But you can use the free Blackmagic speed disk to check if your disk is compatible for video. Now let's go and discover this amazing product. In order to work on DaVinci Resolve, you need to download the software. We go to the Blackmagic Design site at www.blackmagicdesign.com. Click on the Support tab on the menu, and under Select Product Family, click on the DaVinci Resolve and Fusion software. Be careful, you have two options to download. The DaVinci Resolve Studio will cost you $300 compared to the DaVinci Resolve, which is free. The software works for Mac and PC. Select the corresponding icon for your Mac or PC. You now have to fill in the profile to register before downloading. After downloading the software, you need to install it onto your computer. For that, double-click on the Install Resolve icon. After you have installed the software, the first time you open it, you arrive on the Project Manager. The Project Manager is the place where you have to create the project before using the software. Click on the New Project icon and name your project. Welcome to DaVinci Resolve. You have arrived on the Edit page. You have 5 pages on DaVinci Resolve. The first page is the Media page, is where you manage your media. The second page, the Edit page, is where you edit your film. The third page, the Color page, is for color grading. The fourth page, the Fairlight page, is where you manage your audio. The last page, the Deliver page, is where you render your film at the end of the process. Alright, now, let's go to Start. Click on the Media page. For DaVinci Resolve, every file you need is a media. It could be a video sequence, a photo, a logo, or music. The Media page is organized in different sections. On the top left, you have the Media Storage browser, where you can select the elements you need for your project from your disk. On the right, you have the Windows Viewer, where you can visualize your media. Below you find the Media Pool. You have to place in the Media Pool all the media you need for your project. To the right of the Media Pool, you find the Metadata windows, where you can check the characteristics of your media. You will find the duration of the clip, the frame rate, the audio sample rate, the audio channel, the video resolution, and the codec. Place a media in the media pool to create a link to the software. If the frame rate is different than your project setting, DaVinci Resolve will notify you and ask you if you want them to adapt the setting. Remember, if you decide not to change, you lose the clip speed. You can create a bin to organize your media. To create a bin, right-click on the bin list and select Add Bin. Don't forget to name it. Now, drag all the clips you need for your editing. I drag my audio clip into the correct bin. Let's go to the Edit page. The Edit page has three parts. On the left, you find the browser, then you can find the viewers with the timeline below. To edit your movie, you need to create a timeline. The timeline is a space where you assemble the different medias to create your film. You have different options to make your timeline. The first one, right-click on Media Pool and click on the timeline, then New Timeline. Or you can drag a media into the timeline area and the timeline is automatically created. You have two viewers on the Edit page. The left viewer is for your source. You can check all the medias you have placed on your media pool. The second viewer is dedicated to your timeline. You can visualize the frame with the playhead positioned on the timeline. To edit your movies, you need to organize your clip on the timeline. If you drag the media directly onto the timeline, you edit the entire file. To select a portion of the clip, you need to place in and out points. You have different options, but the most efficient way is to use the I and O letters on your keyboard. The easiest method to place your clip on the timeline is to directly drag the media from your viewer. You can change the position of your clip on the timeline by moving it. You can also apply various modifications as necessary. To apply a video transition, it is very simple. Click on the Effects Library tab to select which transition you want, then drag it onto the timeline. You can simply change the duration by adjusting on the timeline directly. To change the type of transition, use the menu under the Inspector tab. To adjust the audio level of your clip, select the clip and click on the Inspector tab, then Audio, to change the audio volume. To create a title, open the effects library. Click on the title, then you select the title generator you want. Drag it into the timeline. To add a text, you need to select the title generator clip, then click on Inspector tab to write your text. You can change the font, the size, the color, the placement, and more. To adapt the duration of your text, do it directly on the timeline. When you have finished your editing, you go to the color page to do your color grading. Before you start, you need to know your color grading objective. The first goal is to obtain the correct exposition with an appropriate contrast and the right density for the black and white point. The second thing is to match the different clips to watch in the movie without the inappropriate transition or density. It could be delicate if your editing is different than the shooting day. Here we speak only about the primary color grading. This means that the correction is for the entire image, not the secondary, where you change only a selection in your image. The color page has 7 parts. At the top, you have the interface toolbar, where you find the different parts of the page. On the left, there are the browsers for the still. You can save your color grading on stills to apply on another clip. In the center, you find the viewer where you can check the color correction you apply. On the right, you have the node editor. DaVinci Resolve is a nodal software. This means we organize its color corrections in different nodes placed between the raw file and the final rendering. Below, you find the clip list and the representation of the timeline. You can hide this area to gain space if needed. Below, you have the left palettes, as well as the center palettes. On the right, you find the keyframe editor, the scopes, and information. In the left palettes, you find the principal tools for your primary grading with the color wheels. Select the scope on the right palettes to check your adjustment. You can open the floating window by right-clicking on the image and select Show Scopes. Now, select Waveform. The waveform shows the reference level. 0 is black, and 1023 is white. The average density level is around 512. Waveform is a special visualization of your image. This information is for this highlighted part, and this information is for this black area. You start your correction by adjusting the media range
with the Gamma horizontal master wheel. After that, you need to place your white point by using the Gain horizontal master wheel. And you have to place your black point. Here it is not necessary because the black point is correctly placed. However, if it is not the case, use the Lift horizontal master wheel. For a new correction, I recommend you create another serial node which allows you to reset every correction separately. The color wheels are the traditional tools used for color correction. The principle is to drag the cursor to the opposite of the dominant color. Here, you have a green color deviation, and you have to drag the cursor towards the magenta until the image color is balanced. Blackmagic has created new tools to simplify the color correction for beginners. Click on the 2 and you can adjust the color by using the temperature and the tint cursor. To reset it, double-click on the name. To apply saturation, create a serial node and click on the 1 and adjust the saturation cursor. If you want to increase the sharpness, create again a new serial node and click on the blur icon on the center palettes. And now you have to lower the radius range to sharpen or increase the range to blur. After you finish your color grading, we go to the next page. Since this is an introduction of DaVinci Resolve, I will not discuss about the Fairlight due to its complexity, but I remind you that you can adjust your audio level on the edit page. Now it's time to render your film. You manage your rendering on the Deliver page. You have to know what kind of diffusion you want. You can prepare every type of format and codec by clicking on the Custom Render setting. Here, you find the list of the formats and the list of the codecs you can select for your render. You have the possibility to change the initial resolution or customize. DaVinci Resolve is very powerful to recalculate the new size of image due to its image correction capacity. The Deliver page has various video presets where the settings are customized for the video file sharing services like Vimeo or YouTube. I am selecting the full HD for YouTube. And as you can see, every setting has been selected. Now you need to select a disk where you want to save the film. Click on the Browse tab and select the file destination. By right-clicking, you can create a new folder to save. For rendering, you have to create a job on the render queue by clicking on Add to Render Queue. The job appears on the render queue, and to finish, click on the Start Render icon. After that, you find your film in the right file. This concludes my introduction of DaVinci Resolve. I hope this tutorial has motivated you to try this great software. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.